Hello, I know this is ball game day, but hey, I hope somebody comes to my live. There we got Life with Pippintine. I was hoping I'd get some people at least. I know today is the big ball game, but and I'd forgot about it till just before I went live. So happy Sunday to you too, Life with Pippintine. I hope we get a few more people coming in here today. And there's Gillespie. Hello, I'm doing fine. A little tired from I got a lot done in the yard yesterday in the garden. I had to get some seeds started. I still got to get out there and clean out my greenhouse, but I've already got some seeds started in there, and I've got seeds started in my little mini greenhouses. We just escaped Walmart on Super Bowl Sunday. Headed home to take some burgers. Well, there you go. Yeah, I'm going to try to get my stuff started early in the greenhouse. I'm just hoping it doesn't. I mean, if the weather gets bad the end of the month, I just hope we don't have too many nights that it's going to be freezing. The seeds, it won't hurt because they've just been put in there, and it takes a little bit for those to germinate and sprout. So I'm hoping by the time they germinate and sprout, the freezing temperatures and all that'll be gone, and when they do come up, they'll be fine. I mean, they should be okay in the greenhouse. It's not heated since it's just a little small one. So we'll see. And I got to get me a couple more rose bushes started. I want to get a couple of those in a pot, some cuttings. I haven't done that yet. But the biggest thing I need to do now is get the greenhouse cleaned out. So I've got shelves, the shelving spaces for the trays of little pots for my seeds to start. Yeah, I've heard everybody's trying to get their seeds started early this year. I know they tell you to start your seeds indoors anywhere from 5 to 6, 7, 8 weeks before you want to plant outside, before your last frost date. I usually plant outside the second week or midweek in March. So I'm hoping my plants will come up. They'll be beautiful and be ready to be transplanted in the garden come mid March, hopefully. But I've got a lot more to get done. I've got a lot more seeds that I need to get started. And like I said, I got to clean out that greenhouse. And you'll see in the video that I post tomorrow, I did video me potting up some pots for seeds. I showed planting some of my peas in my pea garden. But what I need to do now to my garden, my pea garden as I call it, because it's where I plant my pole beans and all that, I need to get the ground cover and lay it out underneath all the pots right there. It's not a very big spot, but that Bermuda grass is coming up something terrible in there. So I want to get that ground cover laid under those pots and then get the rocks back bordered it around it so I can mow around it without hitting the pots. And hopefully that'll take care of my peas this year. And I can always succession plant. And I planted the snow peas, which they tell you, you plant them now because they like the cool weather just to plant them outside. You don't have to put them in the greenhouse. Well, has my chat frozen? Let's see. It looked like it froze for a minute there. I'm refreshing it. We'll see what happens. And I thought Lucky was gone again, but he was home yesterday morning. He got his breakfast. He was out there this morning for his breakfast. He looked pretty rough. I don't know why he doesn't stay home. I think it's because he's got him a girlfriend. And he comes home to eat, and then he takes off, and he's back wherever his little girlfriend is. He may have a family by now. I don't know. Oh, we got Wilson Todd in the house. Shatika, good morning. Or good afternoon. It's not morning. I slept in this morning, y'all. I was so tired from yesterday. I mean, I really slept in this morning. I woke up, I thought it was early. I just rolled over and went back to sleep. I woke up again, and then I looked at my clock and I thought to myself, oh my God, it can't be that late. And then I realized it was cloudy outside, so that's why it looked earlier. It feels like rain today, but I don't know if we're supposed to get any. How's Shatika doing? I'm doing great. And how's Wilson and Gillespie? And life with Pippentine. I know how she's doing. She's doing good. She got to escape the Super Bowl for a little bit. Now she's got to go back with the burgers, though. Oh, we got Dennis in the house. And I got all that stuff in the mail. I got the cowboy candy in the mail to MT. And I got the card in the mail to Uncle BB. And I got the seeds out to the other ladies. So y'all should get them by Thursday at least, maybe sooner. I don't know. I was caught up in an interesting episode of Cops. I love to watch those cop movie shows. Um, the oh, I can't even remember the names of them now. But NYPD, I like to watch. I like to watch the other one. I can't remember all the names, but there's 3 or 4 of the cop type movies that I like to watch. And there's my soap op. Hello, my soap op. No, I'm not anywhere close to being right pronouncing that. Was it the name of that one, Cop Punch? I don't know. I didn't watch any of those cop shows today, so I don't know which one he watched. Oh me. Oh. You know what? It was 80, almost 90 some degrees yesterday. I was sweating, but the wind was blowing, so it kept me cool. And you know what it is today? It's 46 degrees right now. So my heat's back on. Texas don't know what it wants to do. It don't know if it wants to be 90 degrees or 40 or 50. But we're going to get a couple of more freezing nights, I know, before the end of this month. We got a night or two with freezing temperatures this coming week, I think. But most of the nights it's going to be way above freezing. So I'm hoping having those seeds in the greenhouse will work. And I can't decide what I want to plant in my raised bed that has the frame over it. So it's like a mini greenhouse of its own. I don't know what seed I want to put in there yet. Oh, I know, Dennis. I hate pollen. I mean, I not only get hit by all the dust coming from these lots around me where they're building, all the grading of the property and pushing of the dirt and squishing of the trees, and it puts all that stuff in the air. Drives me crazy. But then we got the pollen coming up, which it puts a yellow film over everything, your car, everything in your yard. That hasn't happened yet, but it's coming. Those mesquite trees, cedar trees, they really put out that pollen. And you know, I got a message, and really I don't understand it because I haven't really been putting down my neighbors. They're talking about these new houses being built. There's nobody living in them yet. They're empty. They're up for sale. I don't know my neighbors that are going to be living there. So how can I put my neighbors down? I don't know. I don't understand it. And this lot over here, it's not the neighbors building it. It's probably that realtor putting another house over here to put it up for sale to make her commission. So I don't know who's going to be living there. I'm not putting anybody down. I was just showing people how they were clearing the lot. I thought it was interesting the way they had that big cup with the claw, how they just squished the trees and knocked them over. It's like Bigfoot in there, you know, like pushing the trees out of the way, telling them to get out of my way, or going like this and just hitting them and flattening them down. And there's Uncle BB. I got your card in the mail, so you should be getting it pretty soon. Wilson said, "Hey, Dennis, I saw your video making tuna fish sandwiches and was yelling at someone's dog barking. I'll have to take a look at that. I stay so busy, I don't get to see anybody's videos much." Your grandson enjoyed watching the track hoe? Well, I got a message from one lady. I don't remember which one of my subscribers it was, but they said, "Thank you so much for making this video where they had that big bucket thing and they were breaking down the trees and just squishing them." She said her 3-year-old son was going to love that video. That's one reason I went ahead and did the next video of them clearing, you know, pushing the dirt over, leveling it out. And they dig those deep holes like they're doing to get those rocks up because they've got to have a drain field for their aerobic system, and they don't want it to go down on the big boulders because then the water goes sideways instead of down. It'll go sideways and it'll come over to my lot, to the lot over there, to the lot behind me. And then too, they got to dig out a lot of the rock to put those 2 tanks down for the aerobic system because we don't have city sewer here. I've got the old-timey septic system on here, but it's just basically the same as the aerobic systems. I mean, you got 2 tanks and you got a big drain field. Only the old systems, their drain field is like 3 or 4 feet buried under the ground, where the aerobic systems, theirs is basically on top of the ground. The drain field, the hose is, and the tanks are buried. And then they put some kind of chemicals in it to try to purify the water. So then they can actually put it to sprinklers to spray it in the yard to keep your grass watered or something like that. But they can't do it here because the lots are not big enough. If they put in sprinkler systems, it would be blowing in my yard, and they can't do that. Or it would be spraying on the street or somebody's privacy fence. So they've got to put it in the ground. Oh, really? I didn't even notice. I was going to give you a different view, but I was rushed this morning, and I did a video already this morning of my breakfast, and I didn't get a chance to reset up everything to give you a different view. And I said, oh, well, you'll just see my canning jars again. And there's Claire Quinn. Hello. And Frida Cassidy. Welcome, ladies. How many have we got in here so far? About 24? Because I got something we're going to make in this live, and I wanted to give people a chance to come in, but I guess I need to get over there and get my oven turned on because my oven's got to heat up. And we could go ahead and get started. We've been on here for, 18 minutes already. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I may not be able to read all the chat. Up. I like using this new tripod, but it spins around on me. And there I am. It spins around on me and it comes loose quite often. And if it comes loose, it could be a mess. I don't know if this is a better angle to show you, or I gotta tighten it up. It's coming loose again. So I'm spinning y'all around. I don't know. I think probably put you back over here. I don't like this angle, but hey, it'll have to work, I guess. I got all my ingredients out here already. And you might wonder, well, what are you making now? It's something different, but kind of similar to what I've already made, basically. Because this is my recipe for, well, I can't get this thing set right. This is my recipe for banana nut bread supreme. First of all, I got 2 good ripe bananas here. And I guess you can see what I'm doing. It's so ripe it stayed in the... Yeah, I like them like this. They're good and ripe. They're soft, but they're not black. I hate to use black bananas. Oh, I got to turn my oven on. I think it's 350. Where is my book? Yeah, 350. First of all, we got 2 bananas. And this only makes 1 loaf because, you know, I usually make 1 loaf at a time. And the other one that I made is gone. It's been eaten. And sometimes I wish I'd have made 2 of them. But I said it's a good thing I didn't because I'd eat both of them. We're going to put in 3/4 cup of milk. Or not quite 3/4 cup. We're going to put in 1/2 cup of sugar, white sugar. I'm going to put in 1.5 cups of flour. I get it out of the cup. We're going to put in 1.5 tablespoons of cooking oil. I usually use olive oil when I have it. I'm going to put in 1 egg. And I know some of you would say, you should have cracked that egg in a bowl in case something was wrong with it. But I just bought those eggs and I don't think there's anything wrong with them. Got to finish chopping up my nuts. I got about 1/4 cup of walnuts in here. And they were half walnuts, so I had to chop them up. Grab that little thing. Well, I'm going to take this out, I think, because it keeps banging. I've got some dried dates I'm going to use. And I'm going to put in about 1/4 cup of them. They're already kind of chopped up, so I'm not going to bother with chopping. And I'm not measuring, I'm just going to pour them in my hand. And put in what I think equals to about a quarter cup. And I've got some dried cherries here. I've been cooking with cherries a lot. You can put raisins or cherries, either one, it doesn't matter. But I've got cherries, so that's what I'm using. And I'm putting about a quarter cup of them in there. You know what? I'm going to put them all in there. I don't have that much left worth saving to put in anything else. Now, I think I got everything in there. I'm going to do a checklist. My water is dripping. I got 1 1/4 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of sugar. I don't need baking powder because this is self-rising flour, and I don't need the salt. I got 1 1/2 tablespoons of salad of oil, about 3/8 cup of milk, 1 egg, and a 1/2 cup of 1/2 cup of nuts, plus my cherries and plus my dates. So. And y'all might wonder why I have my mixer right here beside the sink. It's basically because it's the only place in my kitchen that I've got right now that I can plug it in. Because it takes a plug-in, with 3 prongs, and my actual outlets are the only place that I can do that. So this is the most convenient place to put it. Let that drip a minute. And I had already sprayed a little bit of this in here. I'll go ahead and put a little more. And I always spray it everywhere. Wipe it off the outside because I don't want it to burn on the bowl or the dish. Oh, it smells good, and it's not even cooked yet. But you can get creative with your, just take a regular old recipe for banana nut bread. What did I do with my, I decided at the last minute I was going to put some more on top. Oh, that's it. Yeah, I decided at the last minute I was going to put a few on top of it. They may sink down, but we'll see. get some halves. That makes it a little bit decorative, I think. Now, we're going to put it in the oven for 65 minutes, y'all. Put it in the middle of the top rack. I'm going to set my faithful timer for 65 minutes. Well, let's go for about 59 minutes. How's that? And then we can come back over here and sit down. I'll try not to drop you too fast. It'd be like being on the Omni Theater when you're in the helicopter ride. When they dip you over and you feel like you're falling out of the helicopter. I forget when I push this too hard, or when I unfasten it to let it drop down and shorten the tripod. If I turn it loose, it just goes really fast, like falling down in a roller coaster going down a hill. And I said, that'll make y'all's stomachs go up to your, your throat. Nothing says nothing loving like something from the oven. There you go, Uncle BB. To be continued. Well, we'll probably still be on here in an hour, so. Wilson, no bleeding or clots were seen, but I have to be aware of any changes that may occur. Oh, goodness. Oh, you're talking about Tamara. She had, what was it, some broken ribs or something? Or it was the concussion. I know we had 2 people injured. Yeah, it is. I've got just a little hand mixer, and you have to hold it to use it. And I found that it's a real old one. I mean, my hand mixer is an ancient species. And when I try to mix anything that's very thick, it acts like it wants to burn up. I mean, it starts acting funky. I said, I'm going to burn this mixer up if I keep on with it. Yeah, I was wondering, Tamara's talking about blood clots. Because I missed some of the chat because I couldn't see it when I was mixing my cake up. Yeah, but I take my recipes and I add stuff to them and change them in. I mean, this is basically going to be cake when it comes out of this oven. It's not going to be bread. And putting the extra banana in my banana bread made it cake. It was so good. Oh my God. So moist. Had such a good flavor. You would never think it was banana bread. It tastes like cake to me. Mom was a 1958 GE. Oh yeah, I couldn't remember which one it was. I know Tamara was injured, and then wasn't it Jana that fell too? Yeah, I remember now. She's the one that hit the cinder block with her head, so she could have had a concussion. Yeah, and then I think it was Jana that took a fall too. And didn't she crack some ribs or something? I couldn't remember which one was which, which hit their head and which one cracked the ribs. But I think it was Jana that cracked her ribs, and it was Tamara that hit her head on the block. There comes my heater on. She could have been gone. Oh, yeah. Well, if we wore helmets, Chill, we'd get hurt somewhere else. We'd break our arm or our leg or our ribs. Our head would be fine. We'd have to come up with a whole body armor. Blood work for checking clots. Yeah. Wilson. He says he hit his knee on a brick and broke the brick. My AC is on at 78 degrees. Well, I haven't had my AC on, but it was warm enough yesterday you could have had it turned on. But as soon as that sun went down, oh, it got cold. I was glad I held the heat in the house all day. The coconut head don't like blocks. How many have we got watching? We got 50, 13 thumbs up. And we've been on, what, 32 minutes? 35 minutes? And I got little buddy right here beside me. You want to get up here? Come on. Come on. Come on over here. Now, you could have turned the other way so you were facing the camera. I think Lucky's been in another little spat with little buddy. That's why he doesn't stay home very much. Because little buddy here, he's jealous of Lucky. He started to swat at him yesterday when he come up here to eat his breakfast. And I got on little buddy. I said, little buddy, you don't fight with your brother. But I think he's jealous of the attention. He don't want me to pay attention to Lucky. And you're right under the table. Nobody can see you down there, little buddy. And you got your face turned to away from the camera. Tamara says it's 23 degrees where she's at right now. Ontario snow, you're sending it to Quebec. Yeah, but it's 46 degrees here today. My heat is definitely on. I put my long pants on today. I'm not wearing shorts. I do have my flip-flops on, though. 19 degrees. Well, see, that's the crazy Texas weather. It's 90 degrees one day, 46 the next. It's 51 night, and then it's 32 the next night. You never know. Or 26 one night, and it's 90 the next day. And then it might be 60 the next night. Texas weather's crazy, y'all. Oh, yeah, 19 degrees is cold, Bonnie. Long Johns, yeah. You never know. You don't put your winter clothes away in the summer, and you don't put your summer clothes away in the wintertime, because you never know which one you're going to wear from day to day. You could wear shorts one day and put your long johns on the next, like today. Yeah, little buddy likes loving. He likes to be held. And he's really jealous of Lucky. He don't like sharing attention with Lucky. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Lucky's a sweetheart little kitty. And I hate it that little buddy wants to fight with him all the time. And Lucky, he'll chase these wildcats out of the yard. When you hear him meowing and it sounds like a cat fight fixing to happen, it's usually Lucky holding his own against some stray cat that came in the yard to get his food. And he don't back down. He stands his ground. He tells him, no, you're not coming in my yard to get my food. My bones would not. Well, your bones would love it, though, in the summertime, because the summer heat is what is really good for people with arthritis. I know my arthritis would be so much worse if I still lived in North Carolina, where it's real cold and humid. the heat out here helps with it. I mean, I still have pain in my bones because of arthritis. I mean, I got it in my whole body, but it's not as bad here as it would be in North Carolina, I know. I have to hold him in my lap because if I turn him loose, he's going to slide out. My lap is not big enough to hold him. Yeah, I see you, Gladys. Hello, Gladys. We've already got our banana nut supreme cake in the oven. Yeah, I'd love, because that's, I lived on the ocean before I come to Texas. My house was 2 blocks from the ocean itself. Any day I wanted to just take a walk on the ocean, all I had to do is step out my front door, walk 2 blocks down, and I'm on the beach strand. I loved it there. But it has its ups and downs to live there too. It does get cold in the wintertime in North Carolina. But I loved living at the beach. And I came here and I'm on the Lake Granbury, but it's not the ocean. And I have to walk a little further to get to the lake bank here than I did the beach strand in North Carolina. Oh, no, no, no. I wouldn't even think of living anywhere where it was minus 40. I lived in a little town called Atkinson. It's about 20 miles inland from Wilmington, the port city. But after I was married, I lived out on Oak Island, North Carolina, which was about an hour's drive away from my hometown. And we lived out in this little 13-mile island. So we were surrounded by ocean. We had the inlet on one side, and then we had the ocean on the other. And that's where I could just walk 2 blocks and I'm on the beach strand. Owie, you can't get comfortable in my lap, can you? You're too big a kitty. He needs a bigger lap than what I've got to lay down on. He'll probably go get back on the couch. That's where he was. It's 25 where Claire is. You want to go outside? Maybe he wants to go out. You want to go out? I can let you out. Yeah, that's what he wanted. It's just a gloomy day out there today. It's dark. The sun is not out. It just looks rainy. It looks like we've had rain already, and we haven't. We may have had some dew fall, or maybe a little mist of rain might have fell through the night, but it hasn't rained since I've been up today. Who wants to cook pork, neck bones, and rice? I'm going to have to get some of those and cook them one day just for Wilson, just to make a video on pork, neck bones, and rice, I guess. We used to eat them quite often in North Carolina because that was the thing, People got pork neck bones all the time. You could cook them in with your collard greens, or like Wilson, cook them with rice. Cook them just by themselves and eat them because there was still plenty of meat on those bones. I mean, just like a big old turkey neck. You cook a couple of turkey necks, there's quite a bit of meat on those bones. So you can imagine a pork neck bone is a lot bigger with a lot more meat on it. Exactly. Who can afford even neck bones, I don't even know if you can buy pork neck bones out here. I've never tried to buy them. I just quit looking for them after I moved to Texas and found out you couldn't even find pork barbecue, pulled pork. Did neck bones raise in? I don't know because I've never bought oxtail, and I don't think I've ever. I may have bought neck bones when I was here the first year or so, but I made homemade vegetable soup. Your dad was from the South. That's what he was raised on. We ate neck bones all the time. I remember Mama cooking them. I remember myself cooking them. But I've never had oxtail. My mom never got any oxtail anywhere. I don't know. Yeah, the offcuts like that used to be pretty cheap. Like your pork neck bones, your chicken necks, your turkey necks. All that kind of stuff was real cheap. Now it's not so cheap anymore. Chicken wings used to be real cheap. You go buy a bag of chicken wings now, and they're as much as the whole chicken in price because people make chicken wings. You know, they make their barbecued chicken wings and all that kind of thing for their football games. So they're in demand, so the price went up on them. No, I don't want chicken feet. You couldn't give me chicken feet to eat. No way. There's nothing there but bones and skin that don't even look appealing. I've seen videos where people buy them and cook them just to feed their dogs. They cut the claw off of the nail. I mean the nail off the pointy nail off the end of the toes and feed them to their dogs. I'm not eating no chicken feet. Your dad was from Hurry, South Carolina. Yeah, there's a few things I refuse to eat. That's all there is to it. I baked one whole chicken and all 5 grandkids wanted a leg. Well, you couldn't even come up with 2 regular legs and 2 mini legs that feed 5 because there's no 5th leg there. Because that little leg on the chicken wing is just like a chicken leg, only it's a little tiny one. But I don't know where you'd get the 5th one from. That would be a problem, Dennis, when you got 5 grandkids and you bake one chicken. Oh, you bake one whole chicken, and they all want a leg. What did you do? Did you make them like pick a number to get a leg or something? How did you decide who got the legs? No, I've never made buffalo chicken dip. I bet it's good. I don't eat nobody's feet, butt, eyes, tail, neck. Well, that sounds like a good deal, Tamara. I've noticed that HEB and I think Walmart did too yesterday or day before when I was in there. They had their regular roasted chickens for like $4.75, $4.95, when the ones that are like the lemon pepper or the barbecue were like $7. And HEB's prices were the same. I didn't buy any. I've got enough chicken in my freezer. But if I was to buy one, I want the plain. I want my chicken roasted with just salt and pepper and maybe rub it in butter. That's all I want on my chicken when I roast it, because it has the best flavor on its own. You don't need to put lemon pepper or garlic or barbecue on it or nothing. It's just good like it is. Now, if I want barbecue chicken, I'll fix barbecue chicken. But if I'm going to roast my chicken, I'm going to roast it plain with just salt and pepper. These were raw frozen. Yeah, well, that's good. I buy them frozen too when I get a good deal on them. But I don't have any room to put them in my freezer right now if I got a deal on them. So, like when I was in where was it? Kroger. Oh my God, they had so many deals on their seafood and their fresh meat. If my freezer had been empty, I'll tell you what, I would have filled it up. I didn't have anywhere to put any of it, or I would have bought some of those bargain seafoods and some of the bargain, the rest of the meat they had on sale. I tell you what, they had a bunch of it and it was a good sale. They are the most hangry. Yep, Tamra D is here, and we got Tamra Aimling here. Yeah, back when I was growing up, my mom always bought chickens whole because you got them cheaper when they weren't cut up. You just buy the whole chicken. And when I first was married and buying my own groceries, I always bought the whole chicken. It was nothing for me to cut it up. I've always seen my mom cut it up, and I'd cut up chickens for her when I was living at home. So I knew how to cut up a chicken. I just figured everybody did that. But nowadays, oh no, people just want a chicken breast, or they want chicken legs, or they want chicken thighs. They don't want the whole chicken anymore. Why don't you go to my house for supper? I don't even know what I'm going to have for dinner. I cooked breakfast this morning and did a video, but I didn't think about supper tonight. I may just eat a grilled cheese. I don't know. I may not even cook. After fixing this banana nut bread supreme, I'll probably eat a great big old piece of that and be full. Well, if I've got a spot to put chickens, or no, I don't really have a spot. I've got property enough to put a chicken house with a pen, but I don't know. I've never had chickens that I took care of myself, so I don't know anything about raising chickens. But the eggs would come in real good. But I couldn't butcher my chickens. I'm sorry, I couldn't do that. My grandma could do it. I don't think I've got the stomach to do it. I barely ended up with stomach enough to clean my own fish. But when I started going fishing on my own, I said, well, I don't have anybody to clean them. I'm going to have to clean them myself. So I started scaling them and gutting them and, cleaning them myself, and it was nothing to it after a while. But I don't think I want to get in butchering chickens. If I had to do it to eat, I would, but I'm wondering if it might be better to eat your own farm-raised or home-raised eggs, but I'm wondering how inexpensive it could be, because if you got to have a chicken house, with roosts and all that, and then you got to have a pen to keep them in, and then you got to feed them, and feed is not cheap. So I'm wondering how much it would cost to keep chickens, here to lay eggs and get free eggs. I don't know if the cost would balance out, or if it'd be more cost to have the chickens or not. I don't know. Four-legged chicken raised naturally at the nuclear power plant. Well, I don't know about that. I don't think I'd want to eat a four-legged chicken. That's what I'm thinking, Tamara. I don't think it's very inexpensive to raise chickens. I think it could be pretty expensive. First, I'd have to put the house with the roosts and all that. I'd have to have that built. And then I'd got to put up a fence with chicken wire. So you got to do all that, and that's not free. And then probably after I went to all that trouble they changed the rules and regulations and finally tell you you couldn't have chickens anymore. Because they won't let you have any kind of farm animals here. I don't know why they don't consider a chicken a farm animal. I always thought chickens were farm animals. Because at first you could have one rooster and 12 chickens. Now you can't have a rooster anymore because everybody had roosters with their chickens. And, you know, you heard roosters crowing all around you every morning, which it didn't bother me. I was, you know, back home, I was used to hearing roosters crowing. And it just kind of made me feel comfortable. But a lot of people, I guess, complained about hearing the roosters every morning. And they finally changed the rule and said, no, now you could only have your 12 chickens, but you couldn't have roosters. And I know it's going to be just a matter of time before they tell everybody they can't have chickens either. No, you can't have any kind of farm animals here, Wilson. That's especially a hog. One woman bought a goat. One goat, and she kept it in her backyard. Didn't have any problems until the goat started getting out of the pen, getting loose and going up the street. And he was going up the street and going in other people's yards. And you know how goats are? They're going to eat just about anything that's green. They don't care if it's your prize flowers or not. They're going to eat them. And that's what he did. He ate all the neighbor's flowers in her garden, in her yard. So finally there was so many complaints. Well, they weren't supposed to have the goat to begin with because that's a farm animal. And they're not allowed. So they made the people get rid of the goat. Yeah, if you free range them, chickens don't need much care. My grandparents always free ranged theirs. They just turned them loose in the backyard, and they had plenty enough property that they could go out and scrounge up their food, but they always stayed right there. They never took off. And of course, my grandmother would feed them corn and chicken feed, you know, like once a day. She'd throw stuff out for them. But I don't think she went to any big expense in taking care of them. Well, they always had hogs too on their farm, but they were not at the house. They were up in the field. You know, they had enough acreage that you had to leave the house, go up the road just a tiny bit, about a fourth of a mile, and then turn on a dirt road to go down to the hog lot, which is now known as Barnhill Lane because Barnhills lived on it. Barnhills owned the property, so they renamed it Barnhill Lane. A friend of mine was at a diner and they were charging $1 upcharge for egg order at breakfast. That's ridiculous. Charging you an extra dollar just because you ordered eggs with your breakfast. What's a breakfast with no eggs? I mean, eggs are breakfast, right? Well, that's what I always was raised to believe. They charge $2.50 here for extra egg. Guess the surplus is for the carbo tax. Huh? I don't know. I never eat breakfast out, so I don't know. I mean, if I do get something for breakfast that I don't cook, I go through McDonald's drive-through and I get maybe one or two sausage biscuits and I come home and eat them, and that's my takeout breakfast. I don't usually go out to a restaurant or a diner or anything to eat breakfast. Once in a long while, I'd go out and eat dinner or lunch in a restaurant, but not very often. And I haven't done that much for several years, except for when a couple of my subscribers, you know, sent me gift cards, one for Chili's and one for, what was it, Brahms? And I think one was for Burger King or McDonald's. I don't remember. Yeah, that's exactly right. Chickens are pretty good to have around. If you got bugs or worms and stuff around, they'll eat them. It'd be nice if you could turn your chickens loose in your garden and they could eat the worms off your tomato plants. But then they'd eat your tomatoes too, I'm sure. They'd peck at them and ruin them. What? Okay, let's get out of the way of what about? Oh, I don't even want to think about that, William. Oh my goodness, no. But I didn't realize it. But MT and I think it's Life with Pippentine, they're married. They're a married couple, and both of them usually come into my live chats. I haven't seen MT in here today. He's probably watching the ball game if the ball game's on. Has the game even started yet? I don't know. But when they sent me the mailing address, that he told me, he said, "You know that we're a married couple." I said, "No, I didn't know that, but that's neat. That I've got a married couple, and both of them have their own identity on in my chat. They're not working under one channel. They both have their own separate names, Life with Pippentine and MT. I thought that was really neat. The Easter Bunny will hide the little multicolored taters this year. No, I don't want to try them either, Chill. I'll pass. You can have all of them. I don't want none of them. Well, like I said, he may be watching the game or something. The big game. Yeah, I didn't think it started till about 5 or 5:30. But there's other smaller games that are going on now, I'm sure. Oh my God, Bonnie. She said they quit going out for breakfast 3 weeks ago. The same breakfast that we usually went out to get went up $10 because of the eggs and bacon. That's ridiculous. Cowboys have a new coach. They might win. Well, yeah, maybe that's what they needed. Maybe they needed a new coach. I don't know. San Antonio has no NFL team. Isn't San Antonio big enough to have a team player there? The Spurs lost 2 games in a row. Geese are different. They eat bugs, not the plants. Farmers have geese in their fields for that matter. I don't know that they'll let me have a geese here either because they could fly off. Chickens won't fly. But we got plenty of wild geese. I got the hiccups around here. Chill said he's eating petrified shark and live mealworms. Cooked testicles doesn't sound so bad. I don't think I've ever eaten shark. And I know I've never eaten live mealworms because I'm not eating them. And I've got the hiccups, y'all. Small market city, San Antonio. God, what's giving me the hiccups? Maybe that'll get rid of them. Nope. It's the first time I've had the hiccups in years, y'all. I'm not growing anymore. At my age, I think people start shrinking, don't they? Do you get the hiccups when you're shrinking? Like you do when you're growing? Oh, That hurts. Yeah, feed mealworms to the birds or the chickens. God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly. My grandmother raised turkeys. She had her own turkeys in the backyard. And she'd do just like them, just like she did the chicken. If she wanted a turkey for Thanksgiving, she went out there and grabbed her one. You can't get any fresher meat than that, can you? Good gracious, I have not had the hiccups in so long. I don't have any milk. I don't usually keep milk here because I'm allergic to it. And I don't like the 2%. I don't like the taste. So if I keep milk at all, it's 2% chocolate milk, or I keep cans of evaporated milk just for cooking, basically. Yeah, I guess wild turkeys might fly a little bit. I don't know. Uncle BB said my grandma was a turkey. I've got Coke in here, and that's what I drank, but I'm still got the hiccups. Let me check that time. Listen to me. That timer. I want to make sure I hear it when it goes off. It's got about 20 more minutes. I'm just checking on my stuff in the oven, y'all. Oh my, that's rising up good, y'all. I hope it's as good as that first one was that I made the other day. That was so good. That's how I remember I grew up, drinking coffee from a coffee pot that was put on the stove. The old-timey percolators, the metal pots, the aluminum pots with the basket in the top that you put your coffee in. Put your lid on it, and it start percolating. And you can see the coffee color coming up in that little glass bubble at the top. Oh my goodness, I cannot stop hiccuping. I've got one. I've got a aluminum teapot and an aluminum old-fashioned percolator that I bought for camping, but I've never used it. I've tried it on the stove one time just to see if I remembered how the coffee used to come out from the percolator. And I said, how did we ever drink it cooked in the percolator? Listen, I can't even talk. I'm hiccuping. I said, how did we ever drink the coffee that was percolated in those old-fashioned coffee pots? You always ended up with coffee grounds in your coffee. But we thought it was good. You just didn't take that last swallow of coffee in the bottom of the cup. Well, I've got a percolator. I got one that, like I said, the old-fashioned style with the basket in the top. I bought it just for camping in case I wanted to take it camping, but I've not been camping since I bought it. My son quit going camping, so I said I don't have really much need for it. Gladys told me to set up my tent in the yard one day. She wanted to see it. I haven't set it up yet. Then you can make real red eye gravy, yeah. Bonnie said they have one just for camping too. I found it at Walmart a couple of years ago. Walmart had them for sale in the camping section. You can get the aluminum teapots that you can put, over the fire, or you can get the old-timey aluminum percolators and that can be set on the fire. Don't start with percolators. I'm a coffee nut. I said, I don't know why I bought it. Probably all I'd ever do with it is heat up water and take instant coffee with me. That way I don't have to eat the grounds when I'm drinking my coffee. Instant coffee's so much easier if you're going camping. I don't have any gum, Gladys. Good Lord, I'm still... You still have an electric percolator? I've got a Mr. Coffee Maker, which it's the same principle. It just heats the water up and drips it over the coffee grounds, and then it goes into the pot. Same thing, just looks a little different. Really, Corningware still makes the white ceramic percolators? I haven't seen any except the camping ones. Oh. You need pressure, not heat. For what, Chip? Who needs pressure or not the heat? You go to Walmart after the live is over and see if you can find one. Well, I got mine back in the camping section. They had the percolators and the teapots back there. And there's Donna Placetia. Hello. Oh, I got the hiccups, Donna. They won't go away. Oh, it hurts when you hiccup. Oh, they don't have them in Walmart's coffee pot section. All of those are the fancy electric ones, drip pots, or what do you call it? The kind now that just take the little pods of coffee and make 1 cup at a time. They don't have the the old-timey percolators there. I found them in the camping section. It's a pretty big one, Wilson. It's every bit as big as the one that I used to have years ago that was copper that I made tea in. I got rid of my copper teapot. I probably should have held on to it. But I got an aluminum one now. Uncle BB says, I lived in a house my dad left at 5:30. He had coffee out. Mom had instant. They're regular sized teapots. And the percolators were the same size as they were years ago. Oh. Got about 15 more minutes on my cake, as I call it. I turned my banana bread into cake, banana cake supreme. Oh man. Oh. I'd have to go dig it out. It's packed away, Wilson. It'd take me too much to have to go dig it out now. And if the Walmart close to U is not sold out. They'll have them in the camping section, the teapots and the percolators. But the teapot, I would use that just to heat the water to pour in my cup that use instant coffee. I don't know why I even bought the percolator. I guess because it was the, I don't know, the affiance of having one like I grew up using, or when I had back in the 60s. You're making me think I'll bake a little chocolate cake for halftime. There you go, Tamara. I got my banana nut supreme cake going. He come home yesterday morning. He was here for breakfast. He ate later in the day. He was here this morning when I fed little Buddy his breakfast. But then little Buddy was wanting to come in the house. He was scratching at the door, and by then Lucky was already gone again. He took off. I don't know where he goes, but I'm thinking he's got a girlfriend with some little kittens somewhere close by. And I think that's where he's been staying. The old style percolator has 3 sections, are great for coffee. What do you mean 3 sections? I know it's got the stem that goes up in the basket, and then it's got the lid with the little clear dome that you can see the coffee come up in. That's the way mine is anyway. And then it's got the actual pot. They screw together and have separate compartments for water, coffee, ground. Well, see, I've never seen any like that. My little basket has an open top. And the water percolates up the stem, comes out, hits that little dome, and then goes back down in the basket over the coffee grounds, and then it drips back into the pot. I've never seen one with a covered basket. The lid is what covers my basket. The lid to the whole pot. Mine is the real old-fashioned one. Well, my cats are not kittens. I'm saying I think Lucky's got a house full of kittens somewhere. Somewhere. That's why he takes off every day. He's home for a little bit. He'll eat. He'll hang out, and then he's gone. It's like he wants in. He wants in so Lucky don't have a chance to get in here. Oh, I still am hiccuping. Oh, man. Yeah, that's what I got, Bonnie. It's just got the pot, and it's got the stem that goes down that stands up, that goes through the hole in the basket. The basket sits in on it, and then you just put the lid to the pot with a little dome on it. And set it on your stove on the burner. Many ads keep showing up. That's what I've heard, Chill, but I don't know of anybody here that's going to scare me good enough to get rid of these hiccups. And it's never worked for me, so I don't know. I've had people tell me to breathe in a paper bag. Hold your breath. Oh my goodness. I've had 3 ads so far. Weird. You hear my little smiley face timer. When the time's up, the eyes line up with the mouth. That's what you hear ticking. We got about 9 minutes left. I mean, I could take it out a little early because you can cook it 55 to 65 minutes. And I just put it in there for 59 minutes, I think. About 30 years ago, they used to sell pots in the supermarket for $8. I don't remember how much I paid for that little percolator or the teapot. It wasn't a whole lot. Yeah, that Happy Face timer came from Walmart. I bought it, many years ago. I said, well, I don't have a timer on my stove. I need a timer. So I bought that. So how many are you going to be watching the Super Bowl today when it comes on? I might check over and check on it every once in a while and see what the score is, but I don't usually sit there and watch the whole game from the beginning to the end anymore. I used to do that years ago, but the eyes are askew. I like it. Little buddy wants back in. I hear him scratching at the door. Is Lucky out here, huh? Usually at meal times, I open that door and step out and they hear me. They know I'm out there. They come running and they just like almost do a wheelie coming around the corner of the house running up to the porch. Now little buddy's doing that, but like I said, Lucky's taking off again. I'm just waiting for Ellen's commercials. Elon's commercials. 40. Really? I like the halftime shows. And you can't get up here now because I'm fixing to go take my bread out. We could go check on it at least. Check on my bread. I mean, not my bread, my cake. See how it's doing. Because I don't think I left the other one in there the whole 65 minutes. Oh, that looks good. Let me get a toothpick. Where's my toothpicks? Well, it comes out pretty clean. I'm going to turn my oven off. But look at that. That one didn't want it didn't want all those nuts on top. It raised up enough that it was trying to push the nuts off the top of it. Oh, I don't know if I can get it out of there. keep getting in front of the camera because I don't have it raised up all the way. And you can't hold on to anything with these gloves. If I could hold on to it with these gloves, I could get it out. Nope, it's not going to come out yet. Yeah, maybe it will. There it goes. There it be. There it be, y'all. There is my banana nut bread supreme. I call it cake. I don't think I'm going to wait for it to cool. I'm going to cut the end of it off. Ooh, look at that. Won't that look good? Look how steaming hot it is. Woo! That's hot. It's got to cool. Y'all are definitely going to have to fix you one. Oh. No, wait an hour. What a beautiful meatloaf. That's not a meatloaf. That's a banana nut bread supreme, Edith. That's banana bread, nut bread, supreme. Because it's got cherries, it's got walnuts, it's got dates. You know, I need to fix a meatloaf. I have not fixed a real meatloaf in ages. It's been so long. Y'all take a bite. Take a bite of my banana nut bread supreme. There's Cindy Davis. I gotta try it. I'm sorry, y'all. Mmm. Oh, so good. And the secret to making a good banana nut bread, put extra bananas in it. If it tells you to put 1 banana or 1.5, put 2 bananas in it. Like they tell you to put 3 bananas in the whole recipe to make 2 loaves. Well, instead of putting 2 or 3 bananas, I'd put, no, what did they say? It says to put 2 or 3 bananas, but it makes 2 loaves for the whole recipe. I'd put at least 4 bananas in there. I wouldn't stop at just 2 or 3. Because it makes it moist and it tastes better. There goes the alarm. Oh, well, it stopped on its own. Still ticking, though. It's probably going to go off again. Little buddy, there's not room for you. He's in my lap under the table. You can see his tail. Little buddy, you can't get up here right now. He's over here on the other chair trying to get back in the lap. This is so good. Y'all, you don't need butter on it. You don't need jelly on it. If you make you one like I just made this one, you'll sit down and want to eat the whole thing without anything on it. Mm. And those dried cherries give it a different taste than the raisins do, just a little. But it's so good. Next time you make a banana nut bread, experiment with it. Put extra bananas and put fruit in it that you don't usually put in it. And I'll guarantee you it's going to turn out good. If your name is in blue, you're a moderator, Edith. Yeah, I love raisins, but I didn't have any raisins, so I put my cherries in it. I improvise. I put dates, dried dates. I put crushed walnuts and dried cherries in mine this time, and it's so good. It really is. I mean, you take a bite of that. See the cherries in there and the walnuts? Oh, it's good. Mm. When you got one this good, it don't need nothing on it. You don't need to put anything extra on it. There you go. Take a piece of Gladys. We decided to smoke brisket last night in the Traeger smoker, and that meant we were learning the first time using it. If it using it, we had to mess up. You didn't mess up, did you, Cindy? Yeah, well, that's good too, but that first piece is so good, just like it is, you know. No, I can't believe you messed it up. Maybe it was the directions you were going by. What happened with it, Cindy? Could you still eat it? I mean, I don't know how you could have messed it up if you. What? Wilson, what are you talking about? Now, I might put butter on some of the rest of it when I eat it, but the other one that I baked, that I didn't put nuts or anything in, it was so good. Every piece I ate, you didn't want to put anything on it. Yeah, maybe the ingredients or something that you put on your meat to smoke it. I really never tried to cook a brisket myself because they cost too much. I can't afford to buy them. My son always, um, he smokes briskets and baby back ribs and stuff like that at his house when he does them. He always does a brisket and the baby back ribs all together because then he has brisket and baby back ribs to eat for the whole week. But he does a real good job on them. They're so good when he cooks them in that smoker. I just fix mine on my grill. Oh, you brought it in. Y'all, I think my hiccups are gone. 5 a.m. wrapped with butcher paper. You probably need to check with somebody that's familiar with smoking brisket and have them tell you how they do theirs. Maybe it was the instructions you were going by with the smoker that messed you up. I don't know. But that was an automatic smoker. It just cut off with you. That's crazy. Put out until 7 and brought in to let it rest. Well, it's still probably going to be really good. I think my stomach needed that warm banana nut bread supreme in my belly to make me quit hiccuping. Because I think my hiccups are gone now. Just needed that warm cake going down my throat. White trash cookbooks. What are y'all talking about? I don't know how my son's smoker works. I don't know if it's got anything electric to it or not. I have no idea. I've never used a smoker. I smoke my meat on my grill or in my oven. There you go. Well, you know, sometimes you have to go through trial and error, Cindy. If that's the first time you used it, you probably did real good because you weren't expecting for it to cut off. All that good stuff. So the next time you do it, it'll be perfect. Little buddy says, I'm just going to give up on you. You won't let me sit in your lap. I know what he wants. He wants me over there sitting on the couch so he can get up in my lap, and he'll put his head and his arms up in my lap, and he puts his body on the couch. That way he has plenty of room to lay down. Come on. Look at this baby. Look at this baby. Look at this baby. He's just a big fur baby. But he's so big. My lap is not big enough to hold him unless I'm holding on to him. He'll slide right off. Look at that. He just wants attention and hugs and loving. Yeah, he's a big boy. And Lucky's getting pretty big too. He's almost as big as little Buddy is now. But he may be losing weight the way he takes off and stays gone for a day or two at a time, because he acts like he's starving when he gets home. So I don't know what the deal is with him. I wish he'd stay home. I was hoping to get him fixed pretty quick, so maybe he'll stay home then. But, you know, my appointment is March 11th. The cat may not even want to stay here by then. Oh, I still got all the names here. I don't know. I may surprise y'all and pull a name out of the hat on one of my lives. I haven't decided yet, so I decided I'd leave them there temporarily. I think well, let me go look at my book. I don't remember. I think it's about a teaspoon of each. I got you, little buddy. Wait. He's trying to jump out of my arms because I was standing up with him. Now get down in my lap. There you go. You're good. It's a teaspoon of each one. If you're using plain flour, put a teaspoon of baking powder. I put baking powder. And a teaspoon of salt. But no, if you go by the recipe that I use, because I cut it in half, put a half a teaspoon of each one. Because I cut my recipe in half and then I added the extra stuff. Because I only want to make one loaf at a time. Because if I made two of them, oh my God, I'd have them both eat in less than a week and then be ready to cook more. I'd gain twice as much weight. Little buddy, I'm sorry I had to get up and check on it. I thought it was a teaspoon, but I wanted to make sure. But yeah, if you go by the exact recipe that I made the one loaf, just use half a teaspoon of baking powder and a half a teaspoon of salt. And that should be plenty. And there's Benny Murphy from Delaware. Hello, Benny. I know, little buddy, there's not room enough for you to lay in my lap. You can't lay down and go to sleep. You're a big kitty. You're a big kitty cat. He said, well, if you'd go sit on the couch, I'd have plenty of room. I could go and sit down right now and he'd be right in my lap by the time I sat down. Because he could hang off the edge on the couch. And he'd have plenty of room to lay down with me. You can put your paws up if you want to. He says, I don't like this because I can't lay down. My lap's not big enough for him to lay down. But you be in health, you be in love. That's the main thing. I can't help it you're such a big kitty. Yeah, I can't help it that you're such a big kitty. Yeah, he's a sweetheart. He don't try to scratch you or bite you. Now, Lucky will. He wants to play. And he doesn't realize that his little claws are sharp. And he's got some sharp teeth. So I have to be careful playing with him right now because, you know, he'll grab at you and he'll try to bite at you just playing. And he can hurt. He can hurt real easy with that. They're really sharp. So I have to tone down playing with Lucky because you don't know about him. He's just a playful kitty. Y'all, it looks so dark and dreary outside. It looks like it would just pour down rain any minute. That's the way it's looked all day. And dew must have fell last night because the ground is damp. It's not wet, but it's damp like it does when the dew falls. And you look out early in the morning and everything is wet. The grass is wet. That's the way it's looked all day. But it's not been raining. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, Wilson. I don't know what the prize will be Thursday. Don't know. Don't know what it'll be. No, little buddy doesn't play with my fingers. He just wants to be petted. He wants to be petted all the time. And if you don't pet him, he'll nudge at you. Nudge at your hand or your arm to let you know he wants you to pet him. What you see over there, huh? Like I said, I might catch the halftime show if I think about it. I can give away seeds in the trivia Thursday night. I don't know. Haven't thought about it. I've been trying to get my seeds started out in the greenhouse. See how he ducks his head under? He ducked his head under my arm because he wants me to pet him. I don't know if y'all noticed that or not, the way he did that. See if he does it again. See? He's trying to get his head under my hand and want me to pet him. No, this is little buddy. This is little buddy here. He's already been fixed. Lucky's the one that I got to take in and get fixed. He's not quite a year old yet. Yeah, hopefully Lucky will stay home after I get him fixed. He won't take off and stay gone for days at a time. If he survives that long, quits getting in fights. See how he's doing? He's putting his head under my hand and under my arm, wanting me to pet him again. He says, "Don't stop, don't stop." The commercials, yeah, the commercials during the Super Bowl are pretty good. They spend a lot of money on those commercials. Go lay down where you got room enough to lay. You don't have room enough in my lap. My lap's not big enough for you. And who knows, Lucky may not even come home for dinner this evening. He may be hanging out with his girlfriend. He's laying over there on the rug in front of the kitchen sink. Looks like he's taking a bath. You watch the commercials when they're on YouTube. Apparently, Elon spent 40 million onwards. Can't wait to see the trolling. You talking about on YouTube or what, Chill? You've lost me. Super Bowl ads, yeah. They spend a lot of money on those ads. But look how much money they make on that game. Oh my God, that stadium is packed, cram full. And those seats are not cheap. Even the cheapest seat in there I couldn't afford. Too many ads. Yeah, I'm hoping Lucky comes home and get him some supper. He only ate one time yesterday, and I guess he'll eat one time today unless he shows up a little bit for his dinner tonight. Keep the masses occupied. Yeah, I can't imagine how much money they take in on this Super Bowl game. Not only the seats, the people that come to see the game, but on the concession stands, the money that comes in. Oh my God. Tailgating. Trolls will be out in the numbers. I'm sure they will. Is this Super Bowl going to be open to everybody to see it, or have you got to subscribe to a certain channel to pay to see it? I know in the past they've always had it on regular television so anybody could see it, but they're getting so greedy now till they make you pay to be able to see it on television anymore. On top of what you're already paying just to see TV. It's on regular today, okay. Sometimes when I miss the Super Bowl halftime, I just go in and watch it on YouTube because they always put it on YouTube, the halftime show. Can't believe it. Like I said, my hiccups are gone just from eating that banana bread supreme. It took banana nut bread supreme to make my hiccups go away. They'll call in sick tomorrow. I bet a lot of people will. Even people that are not in that stadium will call in sick tomorrow because they've had a Super Bowl party going on today. They probably had it going on all day, and they're more likely have it going on all night. They're not going to feel like going to work tomorrow. It's going to be on NBC TV. Okay. And Cindy says it's on Fox. I ate beef shoulder, cures all ailments. Well, that banana nut bread supreme cured my hiccups. I guess it was the warmness of it going down my throat that made my muscles relax or something, and my hiccups just stopped. My stomach was saying, feed me, feed me. Bowl hugging party. Trump is supposed to be there. I didn't know that. He's probably got one of those party rooms reserved if he's going to be there. I can't remember what they call them. Yeah, if the president's going to the Super Bowl game, he's definitely going to probably have one of those big glass front rooms reserved where he's going to be. I know I couldn't afford the cheapest seat in that whole stadium for that Super Bowl. And God, how many thousands of thousands of thousands of people does that place hold? Good Lord, they're making a. I could take care of myself for the rest of my life on what they take in that stadium just for that game. I'd still want to do YouTube though. I like doing YouTube. I like all the people I meet through YouTube and in my chats and stuff. See, I've been staying so busy getting stuff done I got to get done that I haven't even kept up with what's going on for today, for the game or anything. Oh yeah, you know that's going to happen, Wilson. You know that's going to happen. I got to get my container thing to put my cake in because I think it's cool enough now to put it in there. They may not even make the bread boxes by Tupperware like this anymore. Or if they do it, they may look a little different. But I've had this thing for ages. And it's still perfectly fine. And it seals so tight, it keeps your bread moist. I'll go put my bread in it. Put it in there for safekeeping. I don't want it just to sit on the stove and let it dry out. But I've got several pieces of Tupperware that I've had for many, many years. I don't see any sense in getting rid of it. It's the best storage that you can get for food. Yeah, right here it's my cabinet. It's darker than I wanted it to be. I didn't want it to be that dark. Here's the one I did first. This is the first cabinet I did right here. See how lighter? It's a lot lighter. That's what I wanted the new one to look like. But it come up too dark. And, I can fix it. But I'd have to put some stripper on it. And take some rags and wipe it off real good to get a lot of the stain off. And then reseal it. And that'll be a job. And I'll probably, I'll have to take it back outside to do it. Well, I got Uncle BB's gift card in the mail. And I got Ann's and I forgot who else I mailed seeds to. And then I got MT's cowboy candy mail to him yesterday. So they should get it by Wednesday or Thursday of this week. Yeah, my cabinet came out a little bit dark. I didn't want it that dark. But I bought the wrong stain. I was thinking that was the stain I used on my first one, but it wasn't. Because I made this first... this little cabinet, I made this little cabinet, I don't know, about a year or so ago. And I put 3 shelves in it. And I had all my canned stuff on the first 2. And I had some pans and stuff in the bottom. But I was making the new one to kind of match this one. The style and everything. Because that's what style is in my kitchen. But yeah, the new one come out a little bit too dark. I got that Jacko bean was the color. And it was too dark. I guess maybe I used maple or I don't remember what the color was I used on this. I didn't have any more of it left to look. And I had a can of the Jacobean left, and it was half full. And I didn't remember what I'd bought and used that for. And I thought it was for this little cabinet, but it wasn't. And I got Jacobean again, and it was too dark. Way too dark. How did I get it in your house? How do you think I got it in my house, Gladys? I just pushed the button on the elevator to raise it up and bring it in. Yeah, I just pushed the button on that lift, and it just lifted it right up and in the door and set it down. And I put those furniture coaster things under it, and it just slid across the floor real easy. In fact, they're still under it. Because when I pushed it back where I wanted it to go, I couldn't get back there to get the back ones out. So I said, well, it's not going to hurt it just to leave them under it. That way, if I want to move it again, they're there already, and it'll slide out easy. I need one to get myself in and out. Sometimes I think so too, Dennis. No, all I need to do is take off some of this that's on it. And after I painted it on, if I'd have taken a separate rag and wiped it down good and wiped a lot of the stain off, it probably would have been fine. But I didn't wipe any off. I left it on there, and then I put that coat of sealer on it, and it's just too dark. But I mean, it matches okay. You know, my table is a dark wood that matches my cabinets and everything, and that's what I was trying to do with this. But yeah, I got the 3 shelves down in the bottom. I can't show you. This thing is coming loose. But see, you can see the color of my table, and it come out just too dark. It's just a little bit too dark, but I mean, it works. It's not so dark I can't live with it. And like I said, if I ever get the chance to do it and don't have anything else I need to do, I could possibly take it outside, put some stripper on it, take a bunch of rags and just wipe it all down and get a lot of it off, and leave what stain is left on the wood, which I know there's going to be some, and get it all even, and then just reseal it. I think it'll be fine. It'll probably end up being the color I wanted if I could wipe part of it off. But it's okay for now. I'm not doing it right now. I've got too much other stuff I need to do. I got to get my garden going like I started yesterday. I got to get that greenhouse cleaned out. I got to get the weed barrier cloth under my pea garden, as I call it. You haven't seen one of my videos yet where I did that. I posted the video where I went looking in the garden center to see what they had available. And I did buy 2 bundles of onions. And in the video that I did, I show you planting part of them. But there was a lot of onions in them 2 bundles. I don't know where I'm going to put them all. I need another raised bed to put onions in. Because I've got a ton of Egyptian walking onions here. That some of them are getting so big, I got to start eating them and quit buying some. I'm getting brownie points. Yeah, the wood and the sides and the back, you can see the grain of the wood real good. But the front of it come out darker than the sides and the back. So that's crazy. But it's okay. I mean, it's not so dark that it's that terrible. And I still got the cart over here beside it. If I ever get the shed cleaned out, I need to move that out into the shed. If I had the room in here, I'd just leave it. I mean, I can get through the doorway with it there, but if a person any bigger than me tried to walk through there, they would have a little bit of a problem. They might get stuck. Of course, I don't have big people coming in my house anyway. I don't have much of nobody coming in. Well, I've put out some seed for leeks in the the greenhouse, Wilson. But oh my God, you'd think my walking onions were leeks. I picked 2 of them yesterday. Let me show you. And I mean, I already cut the roots and part of the tops off of them. Look how big these things are. That looks like a leek almost, but that's an Egyptian walking onion. When they start getting big like that, I don't mind pulling them and using them in my recipes. And I've got so many totes and buckets full of walking onions right now. And they're all going to be producing baby onions to replant this coming year. So I got to start eating some of them or I'm not going to have anywhere to put them. But, yep, that's a walking onion right there. Looks like a small leek to me. But it's a good onion. I mean, if you grow Egyptian walking onions in your garden, and you do like I said, you know, the first year you plant them, maybe a tote full of them, just leave them alone. Don't break them off. Don't cut them. Don't harvest any of them. Let them grow. Let them do the walking where you'll see a bulb come all the way up the stem, and it'll burst at the top. And it'll be a cluster of little tiny onions. And when you see that cluster start putting out little green shoots, that sprouts, then you take that cluster, you break them apart, and each one is an individual plant. So you plant them in another pot. And then the next year, the next summer, you'll be able to do like I did. Some that you planted last summer, you can start harvesting to eat. But leave several pots or totes of them to go ahead and walk again and produce more baby onions to plant. And if you do that, you keep rotating them and, you know, succession sowing them, as they call it, you'll never have to buy onions again. You'll have them all in your garden because they stay alive all winter. You don't have to worry about them. Plant them, let them grow, you know, harvest the little baby onions, plant them again, and then the next year you can start harvesting some of your onions to eat. Yeah, and I grew it right in my tote out back. You'll see in the video that when am I going to post it? Yeah, I'll post it tomorrow, I think, because it's the follow-up from the trip to the garden center. If any of you watched that one. Now, this is the follow-up from that trip to the garden center, what I did when I got home. How long have you had yours, Bonnie? How long have they been growing? That onion, those 2 onions had a whole 1 year of growth because I planted them last summer. And if you'll leave them and they get plenty of water and they get plenty of nutrients in their soil, they'll get bigger than that. I've got some bigger than that in one of the other totes. In fact, I've got to start pulling them out. And it's the very first tote of Egyptian walking onions I ever planted. And their roots are so intertwined, you can't even hardly pull an onion out without pulling everything out. But that's the way I do. I plant them, like let them do their walking and produce their little bulbs. I plant them, let them grow for the whole year till the next summer. And then you should be able to start harvesting some of them. Or at least you can start harvesting some you might have planted before that, or those. But just let them walk first so you get the clusters so you can replant more before you start harvesting them. That way you'll always have onions. It might be what you're growing them in, Bonnie. I don't know. That was grown in the pink tote around back. And y'all saw it. If you watched the video, I showed the video where I planted those little bitty baby onions from the cluster. And I planted those last year when the onions were walking and produced the clusters. And that's the first of them I pulled up out of there. Yeah, you use the tops just like a green onion, Bonnie. You can either use the whole onion. You can use the green part, or you can use the bottom part, the white part, or use the whole thing. Like if I'm going to make something that calls for an onion, I'll chop up the whole thing, top and bottom. Yeah, you need at least one whole year. Like if you plant them today, you need to wait till the 9th of February of next year before you harvest any of them. Because you want them to do their walking, as that's what they call it. That's why they say they're walking onions. They produce that bulb thing that comes up inside the stem. It gets to the top of the stem and it bursts open. And it's a whole cluster of little tiny onions. And then after they produce those onions, you can start eating any of them, or you can cut greens off. Sometimes I'll just want the green part to go in a recipe. So I'll go out there and cut off a few of the tops. Leave the onions growing. New Orleans is having a party. Super Bowl 59. Yeah, it's 5/12. How long have we been on? Oh my goodness. I should let y'all go. I mean, we've been on for 2 hours. Wilson says, I'm going to try my hand at making some cowboy candy. Well, if you ever make it 1 year and you grow peppers from then on, you'll always make you some cowboy candy every year. I made it 1 year, and I've made it every single year since then because I'm growing peppers. Why not? You know, I've got the peppers. I need to do something with them. Yeah, your soil, your good rich soil, the right amount of water, the right amount of sunlight, because onions love the sun. You can put them right out in the open sun and they love it. As long as you keep them watered and they get enough nutrients, they will grow like crazy. You've had yours for 3 years? Oh, wow. And they're not as big as that? Well, maybe you don't have enough nutrients or something in the soil that you're growing them in. Maybe they need plant food or fertilizer or something. Or compost tea. That's what I give mine. You know, I build my own soil in my pots and totes. I start with wood bark, leaves, native soil, food scraps, garden scraps. And then I keep layering it. And then I plant. The only time I usually buy potting mix or topsoil is when I'm going to put seeds out. You know, like I'm going to put them in, start seeds in a little cup, like I've been doing. Yesterday I started doing it in the greenhouse. Then I'll buy a potting mix or topsoil, because I know that way it doesn't have a bunch of bugs or something in it. Also, I'm going to try something different this year too. I'm going to try growing my zucchini and my yellow squash in complete different type of soil. I'm not going to make the soil that goes in it. I'm going to buy the soil and see if that makes any difference of getting those squash bugs into the vine borer bugs, as they call them. They say those things hibernate in leaves in the ground, and if you plant your squash or zucchini where they're at, they're going to get in your plant and kill it. And I didn't have good luck with my zucchini and squash last year, so I'm going to try it this way. When I plant them, I'm going to build the soil from like food scraps and everything from above the ground, not anything down on the ground. And then at the very top, I'll put a couple of inches of potting mix or something, not native soil, and I'm going to plant my plants in that and see if that makes a difference this year. Okay, well, we've got to get out of here anyway. We got 45 watching, though. Enjoy the rest of your day, Gladys. Yeah, but it makes a big difference, the location of where you plant your onions, because they do love the sun. They'll grow in the shade, but not as good. And that might be it. Maybe yours is getting too much shade. They need more sun to grow. I'm going to stick up some jars for cowboy candy. Yeah, these Egyptian walking onions get big like a leek does. They don't stay like little spring onions. They grow really big. The longer they stay in the ground and grow, the bigger they're going to get if they get nutrients and water and the sunlight. So if yours has been there for 3 years and they're little tiny ones, they're not getting something they need. I don't know what. What game? She's talking about the Super Bowl game, Wilson. Starts at what, 5:30? And for you, those of you that don't believe that those 2 onions come out of my garden, the video that I post in the morning is going to show me pulling them out of the tote. You'll see me pull them out with roots and everything on them, and how I clean them up and cut the roots off. Yeah, Dennis, that's today. Yeah, that's why Gladys was wanting to rest a little bit before the game, because I guess she's going to watch the game today. Yeah, Dennis, it's today. Yeah, it might be the sun issue. Just move them out in the open sunlight. They love sun. The onions do. Maybe get some fish emulsion or some kind of a plant fertilizer, plant food, vegetable food, and give it to them. See if that makes a difference. But it might be the sun. They may not just be getting enough sun. My God, in 3 years, mine would be bursting out of the pot. Like my first tote that I planted, it's so crammed full of walking onions And they're got so big and there's so many roots, to try to pull one onion out is almost impossible. You pull almost all of them at one time because they're all like hooked together. And I need to start eating them and replant in there, plant some fresh new ones in there. And I probably will do that this year when they do their walking. I'll get all those baby onions and I'll pull out that one first tote of onions that I planted and replant with the little baby onions and start a whole new pot of them. Yeah, I don't care too much about watching the game. I like to see the halftime show. But, I know even if I miss it on regular TV, I can go to YouTube and somebody's going to post the halftime show on YouTube. So I'll always get to see it. After your live, I'm going to go to Walmart to get one of those teapots. Yeah, I'd go get it and show it to you, but I know I've got to dig down to the bottom of the closet under everything to try to find it. Because I got all my camping gear packed up in my spare closet out here, or in here in this one bedroom. And I know there's a ton of stuff on top. 41 watching, 30 thumbs up. And we've been on for 2 hours and 18 minutes? But the commercials are the best. Yeah, they have some pretty neat commercials, but a lot of times I don't get into the commercials because I got to sit there and watch the whole game to see the commercials. Well, that might be it too. There may be too many in one pot. And that's easy to fix. Just pull part of them out and plant them in another pot. Or in fact, take them all out, separate them, and replant them, but give them plenty of space between one another. You may have to fill up 2 or 3 pots to give them enough space to grow. And then make sure you get them in the sun. Because onions are the one thing that I found that I grow in my garden love sun. They love the sunlight. I mean, they will take some shade, but they like mostly sun. Next time on your live. Let me see. Hold on just a second. Yeah, it's too much to get it out now. It's at the bottom, and I've got several boxes on top, and it's a hassle to get into that closet anyway. So I'll try to remember to get it out and have it ready for the next time I go live, so I can show it to you then, Wilson. You have yours in a raised bed. You must have a lot of them then. You have a lot of onions and they're too crowded? How big is the raised bed? Yeah, I'd have to empty almost that whole closet to get to that teapot. I'll show you my ceramic teapot because it's about the same size. And it needs to be washed off. It's bigger than that, Wilson. It's a lot bigger than that ceramic teapot. So, I mean, it's a pretty good sized teapot. Yeah, I wish I could get to it, but it's in the bottom. It's in a box in the bottom of the closet, and it got all that stuff piled on top. But if you go to Walmart, you'll see it. It's just a plain aluminum teapot. They got the teapots and the percolators, the little coffee pot. If they're not sold out, depends on how many people camp in your area. It's as big as a regular teapot that you buy to go on your stove. I mean, they're all pretty much the same size. They don't have little tiny ones. They're pretty big. I need to get another raised bed to put, like, I put carrots in one yesterday because I already had some carrots in there from last year that are come up from the seed. And I need to get me another raised bed or two, I think. I'm still deciding on that. I don't know yet. I thought about getting more cinder blocks and make a raised bed with the cinder blocks. Will said he's going to get both. You going to get the teapot and the coffee pot? I know I planted some in two 5-gallon buckets. They've gotten so big and crowded in those two buckets, I'm going to have to pull them out and separate them or pull them out and eat them because I've got so many more pots of onions this year. They're all Egyptian walking onions. And then I'm planting red onions. And I bought white onions, that bulb up. I'm going to have so many onions in my garden. I don't know what I'm going to do with them all. I'm going to have to sell them, I guess, if they grow. That's what I was thinking about getting another raised bed for, was for onions. I'm filling up all my totes and everything with onions. But I do cook almost everything I cook, I have onions with. I use onions in the recipe. But onions are good for you. A 2 by 5 by 5. That's a pretty good size raised bed. So take it, it's 2 foot deep and it's 5 foot wide and 5 foot long. Yeah, that's a pretty good size one. Well, The onions are one thing that don't seem to mind freezing cold temperatures. They still survive through it. Mine live it all year long. All through the freezing temperatures, the ice, the snow, everything. Some of them may die down a little bit, but they come right back from the bulb, the roots, the next spring, or as soon as the weather warms up. No, I've not planted any more roses. I was just saying I need to take a couple of more cuttings and see if I can start some more rose bushes. I've got that one thing that's coming up too on my mind to do. And my son don't like onions, so I couldn't very well pass many to him because he don't really care for onions. He'd rather not have them in his food. Now, if he can't see them or know they're there, it's fine. He'll eat it. But if he ever sees the onions in them, a lot of times he don't want them. He's not even going to try to eat it. He's been eating more onions now since him and Regina have been married because she uses onions, and she told him he needed to grow up and eat onions. I thought to myself, well, growing up don't have nothing to do with it. You either like onions or you don't. I thought it was kind of bad you try to force somebody to eat something that they don't like. You just saw President Trump as they were performing the Star-Spangled Banner. I've got rose bushes around my yard, but they're not as barriers to keep the dogs out. Where was President Trump at, Cindy? Does he have one of those rooms? What do they call those things? They're like rooms with the glass walls so they can sit in air conditioning or heat and be able to see the game through the glass. Yeah, the VIP rooms. That's what my son-in-law's dad had reserved every year. For the football game, he had one of those rooms reserved so they go in it and they can have food catered into them. And then he had like 12 or 15 season seats that he kept. And he does the same at the hockey games. He's got one of those VIP rooms, and he's got, I don't know how many seats reserved for the whole season. I said, that must cost quite a bit of money. I thought to myself, 12 seats? How much money is 12 seats? Even the cheapest one. That's about $15,000, right? Yeah, I used to plant wandering Jews and ivy years ago. My house was full of ivy plants in the wintertime because I didn't want them to die. And they had runners 20 foot long. I don't have any more ivy or wandering Jew because I can't bring stuff like that inside. And my little old greenhouse is not equipped to keep anything alive through the freezing cold temperatures. Yeah, really, out of my price range. Like I said, I couldn't afford one seat, much less 12 of them, and a VIP room. And I thought, talking about crocheting, I just bought another bundle of yarn to put those last squares together to finish one of the bedspreads I was crocheting. I don't know if I'll ever get to do it, but I was out of the yarn, so I needed that burgundy yarn for the background. I don't know when I'll ever get time to get it together, but at least I got the yarn to do it with. Yeah, the bulbs will live through the winter months. Those walking onions, I planted them one year, and they're there all year, every year. And they'll be right there till I pull them up. You said you've had your walking onions for 3 years. Do they walk? Do they produce more bulbs, Cindy? Because if they don't produce more bulbs for you every year, they're not real Egyptian walking onions. They're honoring the fire victims of the 14 who died. Well, that was a good deal for them. Glad they did something like that. I love pickled onions, but I haven't made any. That might be an idea to do with some of all those walking onions I got out there. Pull that whole toad of onions out and make me some pickled onions and replant it when, but I'm going to wait till they walk and produce more bulbs. I love pickled onions, just eating them by themselves. No, I've not had a spider plant or air plant. My mom used to have the air plants, that you never have to water. They live off the moisture in the air. And hers always growed real good. Produced little sprouts. Boy, Cindy, if you got a whole raised bed of walking onions, you must get a ton of little baby bulbs to plant every year. I grow cucumbers. Mine just didn't produce too many cucumbers last year. I don't know if they weren't getting enough sun or what the problem was. I didn't get enough cucumbers to make pickles. Maybe this year will be different. I need to fix a cucumber patch like I do the pea patch, where I've got a trussel that the pea vines can grow up on. I need to fix a section like that for my cucumbers, because the cucumbers have vines that grow everywhere. And I did try to do that last year back here in this round deal where I had all the buckets where I had my cucumbers growing. But they were in too much shade, I think. I need to move them out where they get more sun. They might produce more cucumbers if I do. Dennis says, yay, I can go to the grocery store while everyone's watching the game. Well, I'm going to let y'all go. We've been on here for, 2.5 hours? Yeah, we've been on for 2.5 hours. Y'all going for 4? Or 3? Well, y'all, I know some of you want to watch the game or watch the commercials and the halftime show. So I think I'm going to let y'all go. I appreciate so much all of you coming into my live today with me fixing my banana nut bread supreme, as I call it. That's banana nut bread my way. And it's really good. Y'all, you have to try altering recipes sometimes and make it your own. You might be glad you did. You've been listening, but enjoyed have a great day. Looked amazing. It tastes amazing, Dennis. And you saw how easy it was to make. You can just put bananas in it, or you can put whatever you wanted in it to your heart's desire. I'm going to enjoy that loaf. It'll probably put loaves on my hips, but oh well. Well, like I said, I'm going to let y'all go, let you finish your Sunday, maybe watch the game or the halftime show or catch your commercials and enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon and evening. Y'all have a blessed night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. I'll see y'all on the next one. Love y'all. Bye now. If I can get to my screen.